Hello everyone, welcome to SheaRants where horror reigns supreme, except today I'm not doing a horror movie because, yeah, I put up a poll about, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. I don't remember when it was, to be honest. I've only been doing exams for like the past 3 weeks. And basically that said, like, should I do other videos besides horror reviews? Should I like review some other movies? And it was basically just a bunch of yeses and one person saying no, so I'm taking that as a positive. So yeah, today I'm talking about Paul, which, yeah, the movie is literally just about an alien and two British guys who go on the road trip together. It's very fun, okay? Don't bash Paul. If anyone bashes Paul, I will find you. But yeah, let's get into it. So, Paul, it's a very weird film. For one, it's literally a movie about two blokes and an alien that go on a road trip. And for another, well, I don't really need another after saying that, do I? But, yeah, this movie is ridiculously early 2000s comedy. Like, this is probably, this Shaun the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End are, like, my top 4 favourite 2000s comedy movies. And I can literally have them all just back there. I'm not joking. Shaun the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End, right there next to Banshees of Inisherin. Because I sort of separate my regular movies from horror movies. But, yeah. This movie literally opens up with a little girl letting a dog out. And then the dog gets smushed by an alien spaceship. That's no joke. Like, this is one of the only times when I think that, like, an animal death was actually funny in a movie. Usually I despise when, like, a dog dies in a horror movie, because it's always just, like, you're stabbing a dog in a horror movie, and I'm like, oh, come on. Or they're, like, hitting it with, like, a golf club funny game style. Oh, God, that movie's weird. But, yeah, Paul. Paul arrives about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes into the movie. Yeah, it does take a little while to actually meet Paul. But the time between that is really fun. So we just get to know our main characters. We got British dude number 1, played by Simon Pegg, and British dude number 2, played by Nick Frost. I can barely remember their names. Clive, I remember one of the names. Clive is Nick Frost, and Graham is Simon Pegg. It took me a while to remember him. But yeah, so Clive and Graham, you know, they're best mates. They're going on the road trip around America, which me and my friend plan to do in the future. Shout out. But yeah, and I just think that it's just a really fun movie. Like, when they're just the beginning of the movie, they're just going around Comic-Con messing around being friends. Which is literally, like, exactly what me and my friends would be like if we went to Comic-Con together, which we're probably going to. But yeah, yeah, it just instantly starts picking up around the 20-15 minute mark. So these guys, well, for one, before I probably get to that, they go to this bar, which is like an extraterrestrial bar. No joke, it's literally themed entirely around aliens. I would love to go there. And one of the guys gets an ET malt, which is like a Malteser kind of milkshake, I think. And he gets a sparkler on it, and then these two like hillbilly folks walk in, and he's just like, oh, gotta start drinking this, gotta start drinking it fast before they literally beat me up, probably. That was his initial thought, probably. And yeah, they then make a few jokes that I can't repeat on YouTube. And probably wouldn't want to repeat in general because they're quite bad. But, yeah, they then leave and they literally bash into their truck. That's not a joke. While they're leaving, they bash into a truck. However, they do get a sticker that says alien board. Remember that. So, yeah, they're then just back on the road, and while they're driving around, you know, they see a pair of headlights behind them, and they're like, is that those two guys? So Graham and Clive just start boosting as fast as possible in this little caravan that they've got. And then the car catches up to them, and they're like, "Oh, it's not them, it's fine." Then the car crashes right in front of them, and they just stop. And you want to know who's in the car that makes Clive faint and piss himself? It's an alien by the name of Paul. So Paul is voiced by Seth Rogen, and the first time I watched this movie, I was like, "What? Seth Rogen playing himself as an alien?" And yeah, it just instantly keeps getting more funny and funny from like this point. So we're then introduced to one of the like CIA, FBI agents in this movie, and he is originally who we think is the big guy. The big guy is actually this random woman who was having a dinner with the governor in the end of the movie, but she apparently never got to that. But yeah, we think he's the big guy, and he's talking to this like woman on the radio, and then she's just like, "So, how's it going?" And he's just like, "I think he's travelling with two British nerds." And yeah, well, he was, because they set up a roadblock with these two utter idiots played by Bill Hader and some other guy. And, oh my god, they're so dumb. So, they literally go into their van, right? Well, one of them does, and Bill Hader stays outside. The guy who goes into the van is too busy looking at the graphic novel which they made. You want to know what the cover was? It's a running gag throughout the movie where they'll just look at the cover and they go, "Huh, 3 tits. That's awesome." Yeah, they do that about 5 times in the movie. First, it's done with this random guy, Adam Shadowchild, who, yeah, you probably don't know him, because I don't even know who he is. He's not a real person, but basically the running gag is that only nerds in the movie know him. He's like the, I don't know, like Wes Craven to, like, people who don't know horror movies. And yeah, it's just hilarious. So, it then just, like, constantly happens throughout the movie, and it's really fun. But yeah, all they find in there is, of course, Clive's pissy jeans and their graphic novel. So they're just like, "Yeah, guys, go ahead. You can just go, you know? It's all good." So yeah, they just let him go. It's hilarious. They just literally like, "Ah, you're all good, guys, you know? It's all good." But somehow they didn't notice that Paul was literally just stood somewhere invisible. Like, but they're not feel around, like, actually try and search for something. I know they didn't know what they're searching for, but would you not try and look for something? Rather than just, you know, reading their weird, like, graphic novel. But yeah, meanwhile, they're back on the road again, and they stop at this trailer park. Now, at this trailer park, yeah, we meet Graham's love interest for the movie, who is a blind religious girl who basically is just sort of the stand-in for, like, anything Paul hates. So, her and Paul have, like, a huge falling out in the RV, where she's, like, saying, like, the Earth was created in 4,000 days. I mean, the Earth is 4,000 years old, Earth was created in 6 days, and then on the 7th day he rested. And then Paul just goes, "Oh, F this," and then he just puts his hand on her head. And basically, when he does that, he transfers all his knowledge of everything into her. And during this sequence, there is a sequence of 2 gorillas doing the deed. I thought that was a bit weird. However, it did get a chuckle out of my dad. So, yeah. That's good, I guess. And yeah, Graham then asks Paul to do him. That's nice, man. And Paul does the same thing to him, you know, sticks his hand on his head and then just transfers all his, like, knowledge of anything to him. Yeah, it just keeps getting worse. Like, then they're literally just driving and they just keep going, and then the girl wakes up and then she goes outside, and then she suddenly has this, like, realization, I guess, and she's just like, "Wait, if God isn't real, I can swear, I can have sex, I can do all these fun things." And then she tries to grab, like, Graham's balls. That's not a joke. She literally just puts her hands near Graham's balls and tries to grab them. I don't know what she was doing there. Okay, Bit weird. Yeah, it just then keeps getting worse and worse. But like, I don't know what they're doing in this movie. I do like the movie, but it's just very weird. And yeah, they're then back on the road, and suddenly Paul just, you know, he's like, "Wait, guys, we have to go somewhere." But before they go to that place, they do take a little detour. So they go to this random town, right? And in this town, there's like a load of people there, even though it's a very small looking town. Like, and they just park in like this big trailer park, and then they all go off to smoke some of the devil's lettuce, if you get my gist. And yeah, they get high together, and then they all literally just fall asleep right there and then the girl goes back to the camper, and they have this little joke where she wrote on Graham's head, gone back to camper, and then Paul goes, "Oh, she went back to the camper," and then he goes, "Oh, she can read, he can read minds." Yeah, he's quite dumb in this movie, to be honest. I mean, as much as I do like this movie, it's just dumb at some points. That is what I really do like about it, how dumb it is, but at other points it's just stupid. Yeah, it then just keeps going, and they just walk through the town, and Paul's dressed as this little cowboy, and then they go into Clive and Paul go into this nerd shop, because Clive sees a katana and he wants to buy it, and Graham goes off to find the girl. So, in this nerd shop, right, while Clive's buying this katana, which Paul literally tells him it's a fake market, it's going to break the first time you try and use it, and then he also buys an alien mask. Keep this in your mind, okay? So, when Paul is literally just stood there, some little kid comes over and he's like, "Hey, is that you on the comic there?" And then Paul's just like, "No, could never." And yeah, the kid then steals one of the comics. And remember, this kid, okay, he's also going to be important. Because then one of the FBI guys comes in. And because in the earlier scene, the woman called her dad and then it was forwarded to them. She said Spaceman balls, right? So he suddenly gets the amazing idea, because like Paul stood still at the moment, to open Paul's pants and see if he has balls. It's so dumb, and I love it. Yeah, so he reaches down, and then he realizes, oh my god, he has balls. And then he looks Paul straight in the eye, and Paul goes, "Get your hands off my mother effing junk." And yeah, it's just great. I love this film. But yeah, anyway, moving on, they then just run straight out of the nerd shop, straight to the RV. And then the kid comes back suddenly and kicks the FBI agent in the balls before he can shoot them. Yeah, there's a lot of ball jokes in this movie, I've been realising. But yeah, they then go where Paul wanted to go, which was to this old woman's house. Now, you may think, this house looks kind of familiar. It's because it's the same house where that girl lived, where Paul crashed his ship right down onto her dog. We do actually get a really nice moment here between Paul and the woman where he's just like, I kind of ruined your life and stuff. I feel kind of bad about it. I'm sorry I killed your dog. And yeah, Paul is then just doing his thing, And then suddenly all the FBI guys appear. You got the big guy. And you got the two other guys. And they're all just trying to break into the house. Paul, mentally breaks one of them. One of them gets blown up in the house. And then literally the only thing that the old woman said when they were leaving was like, "My weed!" Apparently she was growing weed there or something, I don't know. But yeah, they then just keep going, and they steal some fireworks from the shop. And they eventually arrive at this mountain. Now this mountain is where the movie basically is like the third act. So here they set off the fireworks, they go in the air. It's a really nice shot, this. Then the FBI guy appears, and then so does the big guy, who, as I said, is this woman who's really important and was going to meet the governor. Apparently, we don't really know anything about her. And yeah, We then we then just get some more dumb scenes of them just fighting and, well, what did he say? Clive uses katana and it breaks instantly. False market, you know. And yeah, the girl's dad then appears and he shoots Graham. But Paul, you know, he has these, like, regeneration powers, which apparently he used to, like, influence Steven Spielberg to make E.T. And yeah, so he uses them on Graham and he brings him back to life, which, you know, is nice. Then he goes off into his spaceship with Tara, you know, he's like, I ruined your life, it's only fair that I take you with me. And yeah, that's basically the movie. You know, it's a really good movie. I do really recommend watching it if you guys haven't seen it. It's a lot of fun, and I do really enjoy it, but at some points it is a bit stupid. You know, it is literally a movie about a foul-mouthed alien coming to Earth and just going on a road trip with two British guys. And then getting high with them. Yeah, it's one of those movies. It's nowhere near as bad as Evil Bong 4. But, yeah, I'd say it is one of the worst movies that these guys have made, but it was also one of my favourites. What do you guys think of Paul? Have you guys seen it? Do you want me to do some more non-horror related reviews? Because, you know, I kind of want to. I just think it's kind of fun to do non-horror related reviews as well. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. If you have liked what you see here and you want to see some more of my reviews, click just up here to see some more. Until next time, like the video, subscribe, and bye-bye.